The alien princess declared the human hers, and war became inevitable. Commander Jace Arden stood on the bridge, eyes fixed on the swirling patterns of the Lithar system that lay ahead. It was uncharted territory, a stretch of space beyond the maps humanity had drawn. There were no colonies here, no established trade routes, only mystery and the faint hope of discovery. "Commander, I'm picking up a signal," said Lieutenant Rena Kavar, her fingers flying over the console. "It's faint, but definitely artificial." Jace leaned over her shoulder, studying the waveform. "Artificial? You mean someone is sending this intentionally?" Rena nodded. "Yes, and it's on a planet in the middle of the system. Coordinates show a city, but it doesn't look like anything in our databases." Elara Miles, the captain of Odyssey, appeared behind them. She had a calm authority that seemed to settle the nerves of the entire crew. "Set a course," she said. "We need to see who or what is sending this. Stay cautious. We don't know what we'll find." The ship altered its trajectory, plunging into the gravity well of the mysterious planet. From orbit, the world was breathtaking. Towering structures shimmered in the sunlight, their spires reaching for the sky like crystal fingers. Rivers of light traced paths between buildings, and the landscape glimmered with colors that made the human crew feel as though they had stepped into a dream. "It's beautiful," whispered Ensign Toma, the youngest member of the crew. "Like a city made of stars." "Beautiful, yes," said Jace, "but we still don't know what or who we're dealing with." The Odyssey descended carefully, guided by landing thrusters. A vast plaza opened before them, and at its center was a figure that seemed almost unreal. She wore flowing robes that shimmered like liquid metal, and her posture was perfect, regal, as though she had stepped out of the history books of an alien civilization. Her eyes, bright and intense, fixed on the humans with a sharp curiosity. "I am Princess Kalara," she announced, her voice ringing clear across the plaza despite the absence of any visible amplification device. "And you, Commander Jace Arden, are mine." The words hit the crew like a shockwave. Murmurs rippled through the Odyssey's landing team. "Commander, yours," stammered Rena, glancing at Jace as if he might have a secret she didn't know. Jace swallowed hard. "I don't understand." Kalara's gaze remained steady. "It is not for you to understand, human. You have qualities I admire, qualities my people have never seen in one of your kind. I claim you because your spirit calls to me, your courage, your ingenuity. You belong to me." The Litharians, who had gathered silently around the plaza, stirred. Many of them whispered to one another, their expressions a mixture of awe and anger. Humans were unknown in their history. To see their princess make such a claim on a human was scandalous, incomprehensible, and unacceptable in the eyes of tradition. Jace stood frozen. He had faced danger, explored uncharted worlds, and commanded teams through hostile environments, but nothing in his experience prepared him for this moment. He wanted to speak, to argue, but no words came. Captain Alara stepped forward, placing a hand on his shoulder. "Princess Kalara," she said, her tone steady and respectful, "we mean no offense, but humans are independent. We cannot be claimed in the way your customs suggest. Perhaps there is another way to understand each other." Kalara tilted her head, studying Alara with sharp intelligence. "Your people value freedom, yes, I see it in you. That is why I chose him. It is not an insult but an honor. And yet your defiance intrigues me. I will allow your crew to remain in my city for now. But understand this, my claim stands." The Litharian Council, a group of tall, imposing figures adorned in ceremonial robes, stepped forward. Their expressions were grave and their voices echoed in unison. "Princess, your decision violates centuries of law and tradition. How can a human be bound to Lithar heritage? How can this not lead to dishonor or worse, conflict?" Kalara held her ground. "Because the human is exceptional. I do not act lightly. You will see his worth." Alara exhaled slowly, keeping her composure. "Then let us talk," she said. "We can learn from one another without conflict. There must be another way." Kalara nodded. Perhaps, but first you will come to the palace. There are questions I must ask and observations to make. The humans followed her across the plaza, passing under arches of glimmering metal that hummed softly with energy. The streets of the city were filled with Litharians moving with grace and purpose. Their technology was integrated seamlessly into their environment, floating platforms, light bridges, and devices that bent physics in ways humans could only guess at. As they reached the palace, Jace could not help but notice the beauty of it all. Walls of translucent material seemed to capture sunlight and refract it into rainbows, while gardens floated above the ground, held aloft by invisible forces. Yet the wonder could not erase the tension. Every step felt charged, as though the city itself was aware of the unprecedented situation unfolding. Inside, Kalara led them to a chamber lined with holographic displays. The technology allowed her to project star maps, planetary data, and even simulations of human technology she had studied in secret. "You see," she said, gesturing to the displays, "your people have reached far, yet you remain small in the cosmic scale. And yet your bravery, your adaptability, your creativity, these are qualities I value above all. That is why I chose him." Jace finally found his voice. "Princess, I am honored, if that is what you mean, but I am not yours in any way your people might understand. We are humans. We make our own choices. To claim otherwise is dangerous." Kalara smiled faintly, a mix of amusement and curiosity. "Perhaps dangerous is exactly what we need." Alara stepped forward again. "Dangerous is one word, but we want peace. We came here to explore, to learn, not to start a conflict. Surely there is a way to honor both your customs and ours." Kalara considered this. "We shall see. Your people will have time to demonstrate their worth. Actions will speak louder than words." The tension in the room was thick. Outside the palace, Litharians debated amongst themselves. Some believed Kalara's fascination with humans was a sign of wisdom and vision. Others saw it as reckless and provocative. Among humans, the crew of the Odyssey struggled to adapt to the alien culture, the strange rules, and the unspoken dangers. That night, as the humans settled into the guest quarters of the palace, Jace could not sleep. He gazed out at the city below, lights shimmering like a living constellation. He thought about the princess's words, about what it meant to be claimed, and about the fragile thread upon which peace now hung. Rena approached quietly. "Do you think this is a trap?" she asked, voice low. Jace shook his head. "I don't think it's a trap. I think she genuinely believes in what she's saying. But it doesn't matter what she believes, this is bigger than us now. We have to be careful, and we have to show them what humans are capable of without breaking the rules or starting a war." Alara joined them on the balcony, looking out at the city. "Jace is right. This is delicate, but it's also an opportunity. Humans are strong, clever, and adaptable. If we play this right, we could make friends where others might see enemies." Jace nodded. "Friends, or something like it. Let's hope Kalara is ready to see humans for what we truly are." The next morning, the princess summoned the humans to witness a gathering unlike anything they had ever seen. The plaza was filled with Litharians in ceremonial robes, all observing silently. Kalara stood on a raised platform, her presence commanding absolute attention. "You will see," she said softly to Jace, "that humans can rise to challenges unlike any my people have imagined. If you succeed, you will prove that this connection, this claim, is not just a fantasy but a bond worthy of respect." And so it began. The humans had entered a world of beauty, mystery, and challenge. They did not yet know the tests that awaited them, the lessons they would learn, or the friendships they would form across the divide of species. But one thing was certain: nothing would ever be the same again. The moment the princess declared Jace hers, the threads of destiny intertwined, and the galaxy was about to witness the first extraordinary chapter of a story that would test courage, creativity, and the strength of humanity itself. The sun rose over the Litharian city, casting long beams of golden light that danced across the crystal spires. The humans awoke to a world that seemed alive, each building, each street pulsing with an energy they could not fully understand. Commander Jace Arden rubbed his eyes, still unsettled by the events of the previous day. Princess Kelara's words echoed in his mind, a mix of admiration and a challenge. She had claimed him, and now the humans were to demonstrate their worth. Captain Alara Miles called the crew together for a meeting in one of the palace's observation rooms. Floor-to-ceiling windows offered a breathtaking view of the city below, a labyrinth of floating platforms, light bridges, and gardens suspended in midair. "We need a plan," Alara said, her tone calm but firm. "Kelara has made her choice, and now we must prove ourselves. We cannot rely on force, as that would only confirm their fears about humans. We need to show creativity, teamwork, and adaptability." Rena Kavar nodded. "So, we need to impress them without causing offense. But how do we even start? This culture is so different from ours." Jay stepped forward. "We start by observing, learn their customs, watch how they move, how they communicate, how they solve problems. Then we adapt. Humans are good at thinking on their feet, at turning challenges into opportunities. That's what we'll do here." Alara gave a small smile. "Exactly. Let's begin with introductions. We need allies among the Litharians, not enemies, and that starts with understanding them." The humans were escorted to a large hall where the Litharian Council awaited. The room was massive, circular, with a ceiling that appeared to be made of shifting light. Holographic projections floated above the floor, displaying stars, planets, and complex geometric patterns that humans could barely comprehend. Princess Kelara stood at the center, her presence commanding silence. "Today," she announced, "you will begin the trials that will determine the future of our relationship, not through combat but through skill, wisdom, and collaboration. Only then will my claim be understood and respected." The humans exchanged glances. "Trials," whispered Toma. "Are we talking about puzzles, competitions? What exactly?" Kelara's eyes sparkled. "You will see. Each trial is designed to test qualities I value most: ingenuity, courage, compassion, and adaptability. Fail, and you will bring shame not to yourself but to your species. Succeed, and you will earn respect and partnership." The first trial was announced, a test of creativity. The humans and selected Litharians were given a set of materials: strange metallic cubes, liquid light containers, and energy strands. Their task was to construct a device that could channel energy from one side of the hall to the other, using only what they were given and without breaking any rules of the materials. Jace stepped forward, assessing the situation. "Humans can do this. It's just physics, logic, and a bit of improvisation. We'll watch the Litharians, learn their methods, and then find our own solutions." Rena and Toma began experimenting with the materials, while Ilara observed patterns in how the Litharians approached the challenge. They noticed that the aliens relied heavily on symmetry and precision, favoring elegant, flowing designs. Humans, however, thrived on adaptability and innovation. Jace encouraged his team to blend both approaches, order and creativity. After hours of trial and error, a device emerged that not only transferred energy efficiently, but also displayed an aesthetic that combined human inventiveness with Litharian elegance. Kelara's eyes widened as the device successfully completed the task. "Impressive," she said. "You see, humans are unpredictable but in the best way. You honor creativity without disregarding structure." Some council members murmured among themselves, surprised by the humans' success. Others remained skeptical, their pride wounded by the unexpected ingenuity of a species they considered primitive. Jace felt the weight of their judgment, but also a quiet pride. They were proving themselves not with weapons, but with intelligence and teamwork. The next trial tested adaptability. The humans were guided to a simulated environment, a holographic landscape that shifted constantly. One moment it resembled a desert, the next a dense forest, then a floating city. Their task was to navigate the terrain and reach a central point, overcoming obstacles and solving problems that appeared without warning. Jace led the way, instructing his team to observe first, then act. "Don't rush," he said. "Every change is a clue. Think, communicate, and use what you have." Rena spotted patterns in the terrain, noticing how the simulation shifted based on their actions. Toma used his knowledge of human engineering to manipulate energy flows within the simulation, opening new paths. Ilara coordinated movements, ensuring no one got lost or isolated. Together, they adapted to the changing world, reaching the center with a sense of accomplishment and relief. Kelara observed closely, nodding with approval. Adaptability is key. Humans are resilient. You bend without breaking, you learn quickly, and you find solutions where others see only obstacles. The Litharian Council began to change their demeanor. Their skepticism softened as they witnessed humans not only surviving, but excelling in situations designed to challenge their limits. The princess's claim on Jace became a symbol of possibility rather than defiance. During a break, Kelara invited Jace to walk with her in the palace gardens. The gardens floated above the city, with plants that glowed softly and paths that shifted subtly. "You are remarkable," she said quietly. "I chose you not because of power or status, but because I sense something unique in your kind." Jace looked around, marveling at the beauty of the gardens. "We're not perfect," he admitted. "Humans make mistakes, but we try and we learn. That's what makes us strong." Kelara smiled, her gaze thoughtful. "And that is what I admire. Strength is not always in force. Sometimes it is in courage, in compassion, in the ability to create and adapt. That is why I claimed you not for ownership but for recognition." Jace felt a mix of relief and responsibility. The princess's words were kind, yet they carried weight. They were no longer just humans visiting an alien world. They were representatives of their species, standing at the threshold of a new relationship that could shape the future. The final trial of the day tested collaboration. Humans were paired with Litharians to complete a complex puzzle that required both knowledge of human engineering and Litharian logic. The puzzle involved constructing a bridge across a simulated chasm, using materials that neither species fully understood. Jace was paired with Kelara herself. Together, they discussed strategies, combining human innovation with Litharian elegance. Slowly the bridge took shape, balancing structure and beauty. When it was complete, both humans and Litharians crossed successfully, earning applause from the gathered observers. Kelara's eyes shone with pride. "This is what I hoped to see," she said. "Humans and Litharians working together, strength not in isolation but in unity. You honor the principles I value most: courage, creativity, and collaboration." That evening, the humans returned to their quarters exhausted but elated. They had passed the trials, won respect, and most importantly, learned that their differences were strengths. Jace reflected on the day's events. The challenges had been daunting, the stakes high, but humanity had proven itself not with weapons but with intelligence, adaptability, and heart. Ilara joined him on the balcony, looking out over the city bathed in starlight. "You did well," she said softly. "All of you did. Humanity has shown its worth, not through force but through what makes us us." Jace nodded, feeling a sense of purpose he had not known before. "This is just the beginning. There will be more challenges, more tests, but now they see what humans can do." As the humans settled in for the night, a quiet excitement lingered in the air. Princess Kelara had declared her claim, yes, but it had sparked something greater than personal fascination. It had created a bridge between two species, a possibility for friendship, understanding, and partnership. The city below continued to glow, alive with energy and promise. For the humans aboard the Odyssey, the future had never seemed more vast, more full of potential. They had faced the unknown, embraced it, and emerged stronger. And in doing so, they had shown that humanity was a force to be respected, not through domination, but through courage, creativity, and unity. As Jace looked up at the stars, he could not help but smile. Whatever came next, whatever trials awaited, humans would meet them head-on, with heart and mind united. And perhaps, just perhaps, they had already begun to change the galaxy. The following morning, the city of the Litharians awoke to a soft, golden haze. The floating gardens shimmered in the sun, casting gentle reflections across the streets. Commander Jace Arden and his team prepared for the next phase of the trials. While the previous day had tested their ingenuity and adaptability, today promised to be far more demanding, requiring humans and Litharians to work side by side in tasks that tested not just skill, but trust, patience, and understanding. Captain Alara gathered her crew in the observation room overlooking the plaza. "The challenges ahead will not only test our abilities," she said, "but our ability to collaborate with the Litharians themselves. This is where we must shine. Remember, we've proven we can adapt. Now we must prove we can unite with them." Rena Kavar frowned. "Some of them don't seem willing to unite. I saw whispers in the crowd yesterday. The council is still divided about the princess's decision." Jace nodded. "I saw that too. But our strength isn't just in impressing them. It's in showing them that humans can be trusted, that we can work as partners without overstepping boundaries. That's what will change their minds." The humans were led to a massive arena at the edge of the city. It was not a battlefield, but a labyrinth of moving platforms, rotating bridges, and shifting energy barriers. Holographic obstacles appeared and disappeared, creating a dynamic environment that demanded constant awareness. At the center stood Princess Kelara, her expression calm but watchful. "Today," she announced, "you will demonstrate unity. Humans and Litharians will be paired, and together you must navigate this labyrinth. Success depends on communication, observation, and cooperation. Failure will not bring shame to individuals but to all who refuse to work together." Jace glanced around, assessing the teams. Many Litharians appeared tense, their pride evident in every posture. The humans, however, were determined. Alara placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "Lead with calm, Jace. They will follow your example if you show them respect and patience." The first pair to move forward was Jace and Kelara herself. She stepped lightly onto a platform that shifted under her weight, and he followed cautiously. "Stay close," he said, his voice steady. "Watch the patterns. Move with me, not against me." Kelara raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "You lead well for someone not of my people." "I did not expect caution to be so valuable." Jace smiled faintly. "Sometimes the smallest step is the most important. One misstep and the whole path collapses." The labyrinth tested more than agility. At one point, a floating bridge tilted dangerously, requiring both humans and Litharians to balance energy spheres to stabilize it. Jace instructed Kelara on a method humans used to distribute weight evenly, and she quickly adapted, her elegance complementing his practicality. Together, they advanced further than anyone expected. Elsewhere, Rena worked with a young Litharian engineer named Solon. At first, Solon resisted her suggestions, insisting his methods were superior. But when Rena calmly demonstrated an alternative approach, one that required less energy and achieved faster results, Solon's eyes widened. "I did not think of this," he admitted. "Your reasoning, it is impressive." Toma paired with another Litharian, a strategist named Vela. They faced a section of the labyrinth filled with shifting holographic walls. Toma used human intuition to predict the wall's movements, while Vela applied logical patterns native to Litharian thought. Step by step, they navigated the maze, learning to complement each other's skills. As the day progressed, the humans noticed a remarkable shift among the Litharians. Skepticism gave way to curiosity, then to admiration. They began to ask questions, seeking to understand human thinking, and in turn, shared insights about their own logic and strategies. The arena became less a trial of strength or skill and more a space of learning and connection. Kelara observed her people quietly. She had anticipated resistance, yet the humans' patience, adaptability, and willingness to collaborate were having an effect she had not expected. "They are different," she said softly to Jace during a brief pause. "Not weaker, not stronger, different. And they are teaching my people something new," Jace nodded. "We are not here to replace your ways. We're here to show that we can work together to combine our strengths. That's what makes humans valuable." By late afternoon, all pairs had completed the labyrinth. The Litharian Council reconvened to review the results. Murmurs spread through the chamber as they observed humans and Litharians working in harmony, solving problems that neither species could have managed alone. Some council members appeared visibly moved, their expressions softening. Others remained cautious, but the overall atmosphere had shifted from suspicion to respect. Kelara addressed the gathering. "Today has proven that humans are not mere observers in this galaxy. They are partners, capable of ingenuity, courage, and cooperation. Their abilities complement our own, and together we can achieve more than either of our peoples could alone." A council elder, his robes glinting with subtle energy, stepped forward. "Princess, your choice of this human, it is unprecedented, but I cannot deny what I have seen. Humans have demonstrated qualities we have not expected. Perhaps there is merit in your vision." The princess inclined her head gracefully. "Merit is just the beginning. Understanding comes next. Humans and Litharians must continue to learn from each other, to grow together, and to build trust. Only then can we truly avoid conflict." Later, as the humans returned to their quarters, there was a quiet celebration of sorts. They had survived not only the labyrinth but the judgment of an alien civilization. Their success had shown that humanity's strength lay not in weapons or dominance, but in heart, mind, and teamwork. Jace reflected on the day's events. Each obstacle had been a lesson in collaboration, each challenge a chance to demonstrate what humans could achieve. He felt pride not only in himself but in his crew, and even more in the potential for mutual respect between two very different species. That evening, Kelara invited Jace and the crew to a private dinner in a suspended garden. The tables were crafted from materials that seemed to float in the air, and plants glowed with soft bioluminescence. Conversation flowed freely, bridging language, culture, and experience. "Tell me," Kelara said to Jace, "how do humans thrive when faced with so many unknowns? You explore the universe without fear, adapt without hesitation, and yet you remain compassionate." Jace thought for a moment. "I think it comes from knowing that no one succeeds alone. We rely on each other, learn from each other, and grow together. Maybe it's the same for you, just in a different way." Kelara smiled. "Perhaps, but your kind brings something new, a spark. You challenge assumptions and turn uncertainty into opportunity. That is valuable." Alara spoke next. "We've learned much in a short time. Your city, your culture, your people, they are remarkable. But the lessons go both ways. Humans offer innovation, creativity, and sometimes the courage to see possibilities beyond what is accepted." The dinner was not just a meal, but an exchange of ideas, a blending of cultures that left all present richer than before. Bonds formed quietly, without ceremony or proclamation, but stronger than any imposed authority. Later, as the humans retired to their quarters, they reflected on the trials. The challenges had not been easy, but they had succeeded through cooperation, patience, and ingenuity. They had also witnessed the first real signs of change in the Litharians, a gradual opening to new ways of thinking and interacting. Jace stood on the balcony, gazing at the city bathed in the gentle light of twin moons. "We've done well," he said quietly. "But this is only the beginning. If we are to build lasting trust, We must continue to show them who we are, not just as individuals but as representatives of humanity. Rena joined him, her eyes shining with excitement. I never thought we could connect like this. Not just survive, but actually teach them something, learn something, and grow together. It feels incredible. Toma added, and fun. I mean, we got to navigate a living labyrinth and solve puzzles with aliens. Who gets to say that every day? Alara chuckled softly. It is rare, yes. But remember, the galaxy is full of opportunities. Today we showed one world that humans are worth knowing, worth trusting, and worth respecting. Tomorrow, who knows how far that lesson will reach? As the night deepened, the city below glowed like a constellation brought to life. The humans had not only survived the trials, they had thrived, leaving an impression that would resonate far beyond the palace walls. Kelara's declaration had seemed audacious at first, but now it was clear. Humans were more than visitors. They were partners, explorers, and perhaps, in some small way, teachers. And as Jace looked up at the stars stretching endlessly above, he felt a quiet certainty. Humanity had begun a journey that would not only test their abilities, but their hearts, their courage, and their unity. Challenges would come, disagreements would arise, but the foundation had been laid. Humans and Letharians could face the unknown together, as equals, and in doing so, perhaps redefine the meaning of strength itself. The day ended with hope, with bonds forming quietly, with respect earned not by dominance, but by heart, mind, and spirit. The humans had proven they belonged here, not by conquering, but by inspiring, cooperating, and showing that true strength often comes from understanding, adaptation, and collaboration. The next chapter awaited, full of new challenges, new lessons, and new opportunities to unite not just two species, but two worlds, under the shared promise of exploration, growth, and friendship. And in the quiet of the night, with the city glowing beneath twin moons, the humans of the Odyssey slept soundly, ready to meet whatever wonders or trials the universe would offer next. The sun rose over the Letharian city, bathing its floating gardens and crystal spires in a gentle golden light. The humans awoke with a sense of anticipation. Today was unlike the previous days of trials and demonstrations. Today was a day of possibility, a chance to cement the understanding and respect that had begun to bloom between two very different species. Commander Jace Arden stood at the edge of the observation balcony, gazing out over the city. His thoughts were focused on the future, on the delicate balance that had begun to form. Humans had proven themselves capable, resilient, and trustworthy. Yet he knew that trust was fragile and respect even more so. One misstep could undo all the progress they had made. Captain Alara joined him, her eyes reflecting the soft glow of the morning. The council seems calmer today, she said. There is hope that Kalara's vision can take root, but it is still untested. Unity is easy to speak of, hard to live. Jace nodded. Then we show them again. Not with force, not with bravado, but by continuing what we started, working together, learning from one another, and building trust. That is how humanity thrives. The humans were guided to a massive plaza at the center of the city. It was unlike anything they had seen before, a living space where technology and nature blended seamlessly. Platforms floated above the ground, and pathways shifted in gentle, fluid patterns. The plaza was filled with Letharians, all watching expectantly. Princess Kelara stood at the highest platform, her presence commanding attention. Today, she announced, we take the final step. Humans and Letharians will work together to solve a challenge that affects all of us. This is not a test of skill alone, but of cooperation, understanding, and trust. Success will demonstrate that our peoples can unite, while failure will remind us of the fragility of progress. The challenge was revealed. A massive structure at the edge of the city had begun to destabilize. Energy flows that maintained the floating gardens and platforms were fluctuating, threatening to collapse the city's central district. Humans and Litharians were tasked with stabilizing the energy network, using both species' knowledge and abilities. Jace assessed the situation quickly. "We've done similar things before," he said. "It's complex, yes, but solvable. We combine our understanding of technology with theirs, communicate clearly, and proceed step by step. No panic, no shortcuts." Alara nodded. "Exactly. Focus on collaboration. That is our strongest advantage." Teams were formed, pairing humans with Litharians based on complementary skills. Jace worked closely with Kelara, leading one section of the network. Rena and Solon managed another, while Toma and Vela tackled a third. Each team faced unique challenges, but the principles remained the same: observe, communicate, adapt, and cooperate. The first obstacle was a series of floating conduits carrying unstable energy. One wrong connection, and the entire section could collapse. Jace instructed Kelara on human techniques for stabilizing fluctuating energy, while she shared Litharian methods of precise alignment. Together, they created a hybrid approach, balancing efficiency with stability. Rena and Solon encountered a similar problem, but Solon insisted on using traditional Litharian calculations. Rena suggested a minor adjustment based on intuition and human logic. At first, Solon hesitated, but seeing the results immediately improved stability, he smiled. "I see now," he admitted, "that combining our methods can create something stronger than either alone." Toma and Vela faced a complex pattern of energy nodes that required constant adjustments. Toma applied human improvisation to adapt to changing conditions, while Vela's structured approach ensured precision. Slowly, node by node, the system stabilized, and the floating platforms began to steady. As the teams worked, other Litharians watched closely. Skepticism faded into curiosity and then admiration. Humans were no longer outsiders; they were partners, integral to the solution. The palace plaza became a living demonstration of unity, a testament to what could be achieved when two cultures worked together. Hours passed, and the energy network neared stability. Jace and Kelara moved to the final section, where the most complex conduits twisted and looped in ways that seemed impossible to follow. The pressure was intense, but neither faltered. "Trust me," Jace said quietly, his hand steady on the final control panel. "We've done everything else. We can finish this together." Kelara nodded, her gaze unwavering. "I trust you, Commander. Let us complete what we have begun." They synchronized their efforts, blending human intuition with Litharian precision. Slowly, the conduits aligned, energy flows stabilized, and the city's central district hummed with renewed life. The floating garden settled, platforms steadied, and the light bridges shimmered once more, strong and vibrant. A cheer rose from the plaza below. Litharians clapped, their eyes bright with newfound respect. Even some of the most skeptical council members nodded in approval, acknowledging the humans' contribution. Kelara descended from her platform, walking toward Jace with a smile. "You have done more than prove your worth," she said. "You have shown that our peoples can work together, that understanding and collaboration are stronger than fear or pride. Today, we begin a new chapter." Jace felt a weight lift from his shoulders. He had expected challenges, obstacles, and perhaps conflict. Instead, they had achieved something remarkable: unity. "It was not just me," he said. "It was all of us, humans, Litharians together." Alara stepped forward, her expression one of pride. "This is what I hope to see. Humanity's strength is not in domination, but in cooperation, creativity, and integrity. You have all demonstrated that clearly today." The council convened after the challenge, and for the first time there was no disagreement. Kelara presented a proposal: a formal alliance between humans and Litharians, a partnership based on mutual respect, shared knowledge, and exploration. She acknowledged the humans' contributions, highlighting their courage, ingenuity and compassion. The elder who had questioned her before spoke again, this time with genuine approval. "Princess, you were wise to look beyond tradition. Humans have shown qualities that our people should honor. I support this alliance." One by one, other council members expressed agreement. The decision was unanimous. Humans were no longer merely visitors. They were partners in governance, exploration, and cultural exchange. Later, Kelara led the humans on a tour of the city's archives, a vast library containing knowledge accumulated over millennia. She showed them records of past explorers, inventors, and diplomats. "Your people will add to this history," she said. "Your actions today will be remembered. You have shown that courage, wisdom, and collaboration can overcome even the deepest differences." Jace felt a sense of pride and responsibility. Humanity had entered a new stage in its cosmic journey, one where understanding and respect could achieve what conflict never could. He realized that the future was not just about exploration. It was about connection, learning, and growth. That evening, the humans and Kelara shared a quiet celebration in the floating gardens. Bioluminescent plants cast a soft glow over the gathering, and the gentle hum of the city filled the air. Litharians and humans exchanged stories, laughter, and ideas. Barriers dissolved, replaced by curiosity and admiration. Kelara spoke to Jace privately, her tone reflective. "When I claimed you, I did not expect this. I thought it might provoke conflict, resistance, or fear. Instead, it has created understanding. Your people are remarkable. I hope this is only the beginning." Jace smiled. "It is only the beginning. Humans will continue to explore, to learn, and to grow. But we have proven that when we work together, we can achieve more than we ever could alone." Alara joined them, looking out over the city. "This is a moment to remember. Today, we have shown that humanity's greatest strength is not power, but heart, mind, and unity. That is the legacy we bring to the stars." As the night deepened, the city glowed like a constellation come to life. Humans and Litharians walked side by side, exchanging knowledge and forging friendships that would endure. The trials, the challenges, and the uncertainty of the past days had culminated in a profound understanding. Respect, cooperation, and ingenuity could unite even the most different of species. Jace returned to his quarters, reflecting on the journey. From the moment Princess Kelara declared him hers, the path had been uncertain, filled with challenges and questions. But humanity had risen to meet each one, not through force or dominance, but through adaptability, creativity, and courage. He looked out at the stars stretching endlessly above, feeling a quiet confidence. Humanity had proven itself worthy, not as conquerors, but as partners, friends, and explorers. And as long as they continued to act with heart, intelligence, and respect, there was no limit to what they could achieve. The alliance between humans and Litharians marked the beginning of a new era. Joint projects were planned, cultural exchanges initiated, and exploration missions designed to uncover the mysteries of the galaxy. Humans had not only survived in a world alien to them, they had thrived, leaving an enduring mark of inspiration, collaboration, and hope. Princess Kelara watched the humans one last time before retiring for the night, a soft smile on her face. She had chosen wisely, and the results were undeniable. Strength was not in claim or control, but in understanding, cooperation, and the courage to embrace the unknown. And in the quiet of the city, under twin moons that reflected off crystal spires, a bond was sealed. Humans and Litharians stood together, not as conquerors and subjects, but as equals, united by respect, curiosity, and the shared dream of discovery. For the humans of the Odyssey, the journey had only begun. The galaxy awaited, vast and uncharted, full of challenges, wonders, and possibilities. But now they faced it with allies, friends, and a renewed understanding of their own potential. Humanity had proven itself, not through domination, but through ingenuity, compassion, and unity. And as the stars twinkled above, endless and inviting, Jace Arden knew one truth with certainty. Together, humans and Letharians could achieve what no species could alone. The future was theirs to explore, shape, and inspire. The alien princess declared the human hers, and war became inevitable.